have a special announcement. We're about to find out. Dave, are you running for president?
No, not yet. Someday.
Okay. All right. From the newsroom, here's Dave.
Well, good afternoon. Dave Schroeder in the News Center with this breaking news, and it's good news for listeners of KRVN Radio. The Nebraska Broadcasters Association has inducted Dave Thorell into their Hall of Fame. Dave will be joining such broadcast legends as Johnny Carson, Dick Cavett, Tom Brokaw, and Charlie Tuna. The Hall of Fame induction banquet will be held this summer in Lincoln. And again, repeating, veteran KRVN broadcaster Dave Thorell has been inducted into the Nebraska Broadcasters Hall of Fame. And now we return you to your studio announcer, Dave Thorell.
Yeah! Thank you. I don't know what to say. The Supreme Commander would say, I don't believe it, because it's in with the likes of Mel Maines, Bob Taylor, who we watched every night, and I had to be as good as they were. You folks had me fooled. I heard they told me something else was going on.
Yeah.
I am deeply humbled and flattered. I really am.
Well, it's a special recognition, and it's something that you've made an impact here across the state of Nebraska and into Kansas with listeners, with your entertainment, along with the information, of course, but a little the entertainment along the way. Listeners appreciate that. In fact, I talked with a listener up at Callaway, and you are definitely a part of the fabric of the Plains and rural America.
It's you don't quite know what to say on something like this, and I didn't know where to fit this in. But, 3 years ago, I was quite sick, and I didn't know if I'd ever come back from that. God has been good, and letting me come back, restoring my health. I have a checkup tomorrow. But I want folks to know, as well as I am, it hurts me deeply when I read about young children, 7 years old, 2.5 years old, 10 years old, that also have leukemia, that aren't doing as well or may have passed away. It must be a horrible thing for parents to go through. I'm just thankful that God has let me come back, and I really don't know what to say now after this.
Finally.
For those who helped and wrote letters and did things, I really am appreciative. I thought maybe we'd bought her another radio station and we were going to play Irish music tomorrow.
That was the ruse that we gave to Dave Thorell and to make this happen. And with me is our Nebraska Rural Radio Association General Manager, Craig Larson. And Craig, you and Dave Thorell go a long ways back.
First of all, it's easy to fool someone from Loomis.
And you did.
We had you fooled, and obviously we do go back many, many years, and we have even more surprises for you. Of course, you got your start in Holdridge, as did I. Yeah. And growing up in Loomis, I would listen to you on KUVR. Yeah. And my parents bought me a cassette recorder when I was about 12 years old. And actually, I could record Mr. Dave Thorell from time to time. This is probably 45, 46 years old, and you've never heard this.
No, I never have.
Let's see if we can play it from here.
So you out there, call 54122. Call me and tell me who's doing the song. We've got an easy one for you today. Yes, DJ.
Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose.
Well, that's all of them there, and that is right. And who's our winner?
Craig Larson.
Craig Larson. Well, we haven't heard from you for a while. What have you been doing?
Nothing.
Are you going to make a prediction on tomorrow's Big Red football game?
I doubt it.
Do you know who's going to win?
Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska. Okay, well, that's good. Then I won't have to listen now, but I know we're going to win. You stay on the line here. Cornelius Brothers, Sister Rose, come back and sing. Okay, then. Well, we've got our song all set to go here, and let me see if I remember how to run this place. What are we going to listen to today?
Black and White by Three Dog Night.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, your voice hasn't changed.
No, that was about 3 years ago. I developed late.
But we both learned from Bill Whitlock.
Bill Whitlock was a great influence to both of us. And,
when you go to a parade, you take one piece of candy in your hand, you swing your arm 6 times. The 7th time, you let one piece of candy go. That way we can go to more parades.
That is true.
Yeah.
And that's torture. Some kid, just take him out. But that goes back quite a few years, and back to the old KUVR days, and surprisingly we found that tape, and that was a nice little...
Thank you for your part in this, and for everybody who helped see this thing come about. I'm really humbled by this.
Well, a lot of good people, and Dwight Lane, at our sister station up at KTIC. I mean, he was on the board there, and I know he put in a good word for you.
I know he can threaten people. So.
As did other people, and a lot of good people wrote letters.
Yes, they did.
Tom Osborne wrote a letter for us. Adrian Smith, Mike Johans, the Nebraska Children's Home, which you've been very involved with. They wrote some very nice letters. So.
Johans, when he was the governor, came in. He signed my tie for me, so I have an autographed tie. And Tom Osborne, when he was running for Congress, I was speaking in Hebron. I got a call that says, would you mind if Tom stood out front and visited with the people? I said, why would I care? So I walked in. I said, Tom, you've got to talk to these folks. No, I don't want to steal your time. I said, here's my son's hat. Autograph it. You can have 5 minutes. He sat there and wrote down jokes as fast as he could, and every time he'd come in, he'd say, you have a new joke for me? So, wonderful people. Thank you very much. Thank you all here. You had me totally fooled.
Congratulations, Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
Our very best wishes to Dave Thorell, just named to the 2016 class of inductees to the Nebraska Broadcasters Hall of Fame. He earned this honor the old-fashioned way. And doesn't that say it all, Congratulations, Dave, from all of us at 880 KRVN and the Rural Radio Association.
In this case, don't leave things alone.
The last to know in here, so I was all set for them to say, we have just purchased. And then when Dave started saying, we're proud to announce the induction, I was just totally fooled. I've never been fooled this bad on anything. But I know the only sad thing about this is my dad isn't around to see this. He would never believe it. Because as I grew up, he compared me to other broadcasters. I was supposed to do news like the man on 1011, Mel Maine's Bob Taylor. And I'd come home from work and he'd say, that was a pretty lousy newscast. I thought, well, how did you know? You never did news. So he compared me to people on TV. Really humbled by this. It's really special. We'll cap off my career here. And thanks to all of you who've been a big part of what I do. Uncle Don, come on in here. This was the half of one of the greatest comedy teams we ever had on the air.
It was comedy.
I could say things you would answer.
Yes.
It was especially funny when we did auction times and we were reading them live, and we'd read things like antiques include a naked Cupid with heart clock, and the other guy would act up. Or it'd be like, we have these bulls, not highly fitted, they're in their working clothes. The other guy would bite his wrist to try to get the other guy to laugh. But I really appreciate this. It's a total surprise, and I thank you all for your support, and especially the Rural Radio Association in the many years that I've been here. My resume isn't very big. It's just 2 radio stations, but I've been glad to be here and a part of this. And for all the listeners that listen in, I appreciate this too, who come up and say, oh, we can't hardly live without you. Ice storm was bad, and they said to me, you know, Dave, you acted like you knew what we were going through during the ice storm. Well, I did. I didn't have any electricity at home. I'd shave here, wash my face here. So listeners are the important part. So thank you all.